actually want to talk about them because they'll lead into us talking about the Clippers. The Timberwolves, you were at the game last night. By the way, when you finish them games, you need to start sending me them clips so I can post them and we can show them on the stream. But obviously, you were in a post game. I don't know what happened at the game last night. I would love for you to just talk through the game because I'm gonna be honest. I was watching the game. They were up. The Clippers were up by 20. I was tired. I was waiting on a render to render. I'm like, oh, it's going to take 30 minutes for it to render. I'm going to take a nap while it renders. I went to sleep, wound up being asleep for an hour. I woke up. The game was over, and the Clippers lost. So talk to us. Explain what happened yesterday. Clippers, T-Wolves, Kawhi's injured. Tell us more about what's going on.
I mean, more so, I think, well, for one, they came out playing regular Clippers basketball. They actually had Cal Anderson starting, which they probably shouldn't have done. They actually, really, the two turning points in the game was when Cal Anderson got benched. One got benched for Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and when obviously Kawhi hurt his back with the back spasm. So it was like a weird game, right? So we're at the game, we're watching it, and I see the play Kawhi gets hurt, and I'm like, yo, I wonder if Kawhi just like, in my mind, I'm like, I feel like he might have just hurt himself, but like he walked off. It's like he was all good. Then he checked out the game, and like I didn't notice that he didn't really check back in. And then people started, and then like media members started tweeting like, "Oh, he hasn't checked back in. He actually is back in the locker room." And they said his wife went with him. Well, I'm like, okay, like I didn't physically see. They said his wife went with him and he got dressed. So I'm like, oh man, like I hope like nothing like personal happened with like his family, because like your wife goes with him, you get dressed, you leave the stadium. Like even usually if you get hurt and you leave the stadium, like you had something like your leg damn near fell off or something like that, unless it's like something personal. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope that's something like super personal going on with the man's family. Like prayers up to him. But then I see him walking, I'm like, he walking kind of like gingerly, like he might be hurt. And it turned out he left the game with back spasm. So him leaving the game makes sense because he has like basically it's like a mid back spasm type thing. So it's like the middle of your back. You don't want to sit down and get stiff. So it makes sense to like just go home and lay down. And he's with the team now going on their road trip. So obviously it can't be nothing too serious because you got to fly to the Midwest. You got to sit up for that. So whatever. But really what happened was Anthony Edwards happened. The Timberwolves played some of the best defense. They play some of the best defense I might have watched ever in person, to be honest with you. Like the guys are flying around. They have really, really good individual defenders, and they're well connected. And for some reason, if you do happen to get to the rim, you have a generational rim protector behind you. Last night, I thought Rudy Gobert took over in like the second half defensively. He was blocking everything in the second half. If not blocking it, he was contesting and changing the shot. I thought, like I said, defensively, they were great. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Jordan McLaughlin, they were great. But as far as the Timberwolves being actual contenders, no, I still think that you miss Cat, bro. Like, I fuck with Nas Reed. I rock with Nas Reed. Nas Reed is great. But that's still 20 points on 50% shooting, 40% from the three, who somehow this year has become a better defender than what he was in years past. So no, I don't think that they are still contenders. But I will say this. If they can make a run, like granted, obviously Ant, young guy, I still think he has a ways to go. But the playoffs is where you make your name. So if he's really going to be one of the ones that really like one of the faces of the league, which I think that talk is like a little bit forced. I think we just trying to find the next guy because we see
we already have the guy.
Okay,
his name is I'm not. He's the guy that out.
But at the same time, I was saying if Ant is going to be one of those guys who's going to be one of the new faces of the league, this is the time when you make your mark. You make your mark in the playoffs. That's when you make your mark. So I will say this. If they can end up making a run without Cat better put his house up for sale.
Without Big Purr.
He better put the house up.
But what do you define as a run? Because to me, making the conference finals is not a run.
That's a run.
It's not a run.
That's a run.
It's not a run. It's like saying the Warriors went on a run last year. No, well, actually, no. No, they didn't. It's like saying the Lakers went on a run last year. They didn't go on a run.
They went on a run.
And they got smacked by superior competition.
They still went on a run.
Not no fucking run,
They went on a run. Now, granted, I think it was a slight aberration, but they went on a run. They went on a run. It was a slight, but like it happened. They went on a run.
Somebody named Dwight Howard dancing as him being a big, I really can't stand y'all, bro. Go ahead, bro. I'm
G
sorry.
said the white biggest more like that's not it's not it's
No,
like bro
G.
if you around the air it's not insane.
No,
But
G.
listen, listen.
Go ahead. I'm
If
sorry.
Anthony because the only reason that they would get to the conference finals, I think, is if Anthony Edwards takes another step in his career. So if
Baby
Anthony Edwards
Jordan.
takes another step to being the you think he baby Jordan, I still think he's the Isaiah Ryder gone. I mean not Isaiah, J.R. Ryder gone right, which is a great player, by the way. It's a great player. It's a great player.
That's
Great
just a
player.
very, that's like a big fucking difference between Michael
great
Jordan
player.
and Isaiah Ryder, though.
It's a great player. J.R. Ryder going right is a great NBA player. J.R. Ryder had fucking talent. It's a great NBA player. But if he is really going to be one of those, the Jordan, the Kobe's, the even the D Wade, if he gonna even be a D Wade, the playoffs is when you make your moment. And if he does do that, you're like, you know what? Maybe we can ship Cat off for 2 or 3 more pieces. Maybe we can go. Maybe we can call maybe we can call the Pelicans and be like, yo, do you want to give us Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and somebody else, and we'll give you Cat, and you think you can build a roster out around and just, let Cat be, and give Ant even more offensive responsibility than what he always had, than even what he has right now, if he can prove himself in this year's playoffs. But no, I don't think they are a contender unless Ant takes another step in the playoffs.
Yep. I can't argue with that. I think the Wolves I personally think that they are still a contender. And the reason why I say that the Wolves are still a contender is because when you look at the top of the Western Conference in regards to who's stacked, who has what, who doesn't, very clearly to me, the Oklahoma City Thunder, out of the young teams that are between the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, and I would even call the Mavericks a young team because Kyrie is old, but the rest of those guys are relatively young now. They swapped out the old guys and got most of the young guys in. Like Luka is still not even 25 yet, right? Is he 25 now?
He's 25 now.
Okay, but still, like Luka's still young, and obviously with the Rockets, Şengün is out for the season, so any chance they had of maybe getting into the play-in is a wrap. So the top 10 seeds in the West and the top 10 seeds to me in the East are both set. But out of the teams that are young, that are left, to me, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the most vulnerable. They too fucking happy. Stop fucking smiling all the time. Like,
that's not even why they too vulnerable.
No, stop. Let me finish my point. I let you talk a lot. They smile too fucking much for me. And I get it. Y'all love each other. Y'all happy. But even the Knicks, and with them being happy and they dirt and they grit, they still have a dirt and a grit to them. Like, they're happy, but they happy because they like each other. But like the Thunder are happy. I'll put it this way. The Knicks look happy that they are a good team that can go on the floor any night and defensively go man-to-man against you and shut you down. To me, the Thunder are happy because they're a young team and they're like, oh, we're getting success. So this is great. I think that, to me, is the undoing of it. Like, I like the team camaraderie. I think they got, if we was playing 2K, their team chemistry is plus 500, whatever. But they're still too young, and I need to see a little bit more of aggression and seriousness from them as they finish the season. I like all of it. It's good. It's a great story. But you know what usually happens before you become a champion? You fucking lose, and you lose tragically. And they look to me like they headed right on the trajectory of getting smacked by the Lakers, because I think the Mavericks are going to beat the Kings, the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors, and I think that the Lakers will beat the Kings, and it will be the Thunder, the Nuggets are going to be the second seed, so it's going to be Nuggets, Mavericks, and I think that if the Thunder going to get the Lakers, and they going to lose in 5, and they're going to be crying and shit with the towel over their head, and everybody going to be like, oh, they're young, they got to go through heartbreak, but to me, now is the time to really lock in. And to me, what I see when I see the Timberwolves is that they're locked in. Even though Cat is hurt, every night they show up locked in. They're aggressive. They play tough defense. If anything, I think they're a little too aggressive on defense. That's why Cat and Rudy almost foul out every game, because I think they're a little too aggressive on defense.
Almost foul out every game.
Cat fouls out a lot.
But that's just
I watch a lot of Timberwolves game. Yes, but Rudy also has a lot of games with 4 and 5 fouls. And that wasn't always the case with Rudy when he was in Utah. But Rudy has a lot of games where he finishes with 4 and 5 fouls. They foul a lot, but they foul a lot because they're aggressive defensively. In postgame, they might make jokes, but you don't see them all like laughing and kikiing and all of it. Like they look locked in. So I think the Wolves can still be contenders because if they stay in that 3 seed, and I actually think that the Suns are gonna catch the Pelicans, because I think if you're the Suns, if I'm Frank Vogel, I'm going to the locker room like, yo, Kawhi back hurt. We got a wounded dog. We need to get to that 5th seed or that 4th seed and play the Clippers because they have a wounded dog. And if we take advantage of that, if the Thunder play the Lakers, you deal with whoever beats them. And I'm going to take Phoenix in the series over the Lakers if I'm being honest. So to me, I think the Wolves have the perfect opportunity to like avoid Denver into the second round. And at that point, you have so much momentum. The Timberwolves said they expect they expect him to come back either before or during the playoffs. So if you can get to the second round, the sky is the limit. But to me, the Thunder are not at all contenders to me. But